change a tyre? 15 minutes? 20? In the speed-obsessed world of F1, that wouldn't fly. Formula One mechanics can change all 4 wheels in less than 10 seconds. The key is having a pit stop crew drill with military precision and the right tools. Instead of 4 or 5 fiddly bolts, F1 wheels have one massive centre locking hub, which can be spun off with an air gun in less than a second.
Looking at and listening to an F1 car, you might think that only serious rocket scientists and design engineer types have anything to do with actually making one. But we must not forget the vital role played by prehistoric blacksmiths, because the technique used to make this sword also helps an F1 car flash around the track.
Things that go fast tend to get hot. F1 cars are no different. Some of the hottest and most stressed parts on an F1 car are the wheels. They can rotate 150,000 times in a race and encase brakes that can work at temperatures of 1,000 degrees Celsius. Road cars use wheels made of steel. No good for F1. It's too heavy and too weak. So, what's the alternative?
The material they use is this, magnesium, which has many useful properties. It's also used in this that I have in my hand, which is, well, it's a fire starting kit, which is a worry. And just in case you didn't believe me about this particular property of magnesium, I thought it better to come away from the expensive F1 car to demonstrate. First, scrape some magnesium off. Next, hit it with a spark off here. One of those. And you really want that in the wheels of your F1 car.
In rare circumstances, such as when a puncture allows the wheel to scrape along the ground, magnesium rims can catch fire with dramatic effects. So why does anyone use magnesium to make wheels for racing cars? Same again, magnesium is strong and light. On F1 cars, lightweight strength wins over the small risk of fire, and it's one that's worth taking. Magnesium is up to the stresses of rapid acceleration, high-speed cornering and braking. But to make it even stronger, the F1 engineers borrowed an ancient technique for manipulating metal. If you want to shape metal, you can just cast it, melt it and pour it into a mould, as modern smiths Mike Rosser and Craig Jones show me.
It will still be extremely hot.
I can't undo it. I'm not manly enough. No, it's a test. I can't undo that. How?
All right, I'm not actually a blacksmith, clearly.
Look at that! And that's what we just made.
One mallet. There we go. There we just made that mallet.
And it's not just simple things like hammers that can be made by casting either. More ornate objects like my sword here. See, that's cast iron. Really quite delicate and quite clever. Again, made by casting. Ah! Oh, Lord, I have dropped my sword. And, yeah, I think what I've done there is demonstrate perhaps a weakness. Some things are best made by processes other than casting. Fortunately, they can do that here as well.
Yeah, fortunately for clumsy swordsmen and F1 wheels, there is another process which leads to a far stronger end product. The ancient technique of forging.
Hit it, basically.
Hit it, basically, if we work in the edges.
Forging is the shaping of metal using localized compressive forces, or smacking lumps of metal repeatedly with a big hammer.
So this is forging.
Yep.
Forging most metal aligns its internal grains, which makes it naturally strong.
You'll need to put it back in the fire now and get some more heat into it.
By contrast, in cast metal, the grains are randomly distributed, creating points of potential weakness.
I'll tell you what, while nobody's looking, do you want to straighten it for me? Just straighten it up, and then we'll cut this bit out.
After many, many back-breaking, arm-wrenching hours at the forge, my blood, sweat and tears pay off.
Oh, yeah. That's just about perfect. I did that. All of that. Obviously, normally it would take somebody a long time to learn how to do this. Can you go and finish mine off for me?
I'll go and have a look.
Yeah.
With a little gentle buffing from my glamorous assistant, my sword reaches showroom condition.
Thank you very much, thank you. And straight away, my forged sword already looks a lot better than my cast one. It's lighter. Is it stronger? Yeah, clearly. That's a lot stronger than my cast one.
That's why F1 teams use forged magnesium wheels.
Forging is better than casting. And that's before we even consider the weight, because this whole sword, the forged one, weighs less than just this shattered portion of my cast one.
And the same is true for wheels. A forged wheel will be lighter and stronger than a cast one. As you'd expect, F1 teams have armies of blacksmiths turning out wheels. Now, not really. The process is somewhat more industrialized. A semi-molten alloy is crushed into shape using a force of 9,000 tons. The grains are aligned, and you're left with some incredibly strong wheels. Just pray you don't get a puncture.
Everything about an F1 car is designed to get it from the grid line to the checkered flag as quickly as possible. And it's a spellbinder for millions of people all around the globe. But a huge chunk of that racing doesn't take place out there on the track, because the engineers compete constantly and with incredible ferocity to gain just a few milliseconds advantage over their competitors.
And that means being on the very cutting edge of science and engineering, discovering technologies which end up far from the race circuit, almost as far as Mars, in fact. Usually, technology trickles down from space exploration. Formula One cars turn that on its head. Yes, the high-tech plastics that went into the Beagle 2 Mars lander came thanks to Formula One cars.
And at the risk of overstretching the metaphor, they are like butterflies, say, even in death considered objects of beauty and prized by collectors. And it is easy to be seduced by the stark functional beauty of these things, by the depth of craftsmanship. But it is worth remembering they owe their very existence to some surprising engineering connections.
The first truly accurate cannon. The very first wing. A jet engine.
So any second now, it's about to snap.
Oh yeah, there it goes there, look!
Body armor. And a blacksmith's forge.
I look menacing, I know.